You have two faces, one for the world, one that smiles, performs, plays nice, says I'm fine, and another, locked deep behind your eyes, the one that screams in silence, the one that carries shame, fear, rage, pain, and truth. Most people run from that face, but the brave, the seekers, they turn around and face it. This is shadow work, not some trendy self-help term, but the most brutal, beautiful, and necessary journey you'll ever take. Let's begin. If this shook something inside you, hit like and subscribe. We do this every day. Zrenia. Carl Jung called it the thing a person has no wish to be. The shadow is everything you repress. The anger you weren't allowed to feel. The desires you were shamed for. The truth you buried so deep you forgot it was even there. The shadow isn't evil, it's just you, unaccepted. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Carl Jung. You sabotage relationships? That's your shadow. You chase validation endlessly? That's your shadow. You're triggered by people who mirror something in you? That's your shadow begging to be seen. Part 2. Where does the shadow come from? Let's go back. You were a child, open, wild, whole. Then, life happened. Someone told you, boys don't cry, girls don't get angry. That's weird. You're too much. You're not enough. So you broke yourself up, kept the acceptable parts, and shoved the rest into a box called not me. That box became your shadow, and every time you rejected a part of yourself, it grew louder in the background. Part 3. Symptoms of a buried shadow. You don't need a therapist to know you have one, just check these signs. You overreact to minor things, you judge others harshly, you self-sabotage when you're close to success, you constantly feel not enough, you're addicted to validation, drama, or perfection, you ghost yourself in silence when no one's watching. The shadow leaks through your words, patterns, and energy. You're not broken, you're carrying ghosts. Part 4. How the ego blocks the truth. Your ego isn't your enemy, but it is scared. It wants control, it wants safety, it wants to maintain your image, even if that image is killing you. So it justifies toxic habits, blames others, avoids accountability, resists change. The ego fears death, and shadow work feels like death, because when you start looking inward, everything unravels. Identities, attachments, old stories, illusions, but what dies is illusion, what's born is truth. Part 5. Real shadow work, what it actually looks like. Forget journaling a few affirmations. Real shadow work is raw, ugly, transformational. Here's what it involves. 1. Trigger tracking. Every time someone makes you feel angry, jealous, inferior, write it down. What does this reflect in me? What am I refusing to accept? Is this about them or me? 2. Inner child dialogues. Speak to the younger you. Close your eyes, visualize them. Ask, what did you need back then? What hurt you the most? What do you still carry? You'll cry, you'll shake, but you'll reconnect with the piece you left behind. 3. Shadow journaling prompts. What am I most ashamed of? What part of me have I never told anyone about? What do I pretend to be just to be loved? Who would I be without my wounds? Write, cry, don't edit. Truth heals. 4. Mirror work. Look into your eyes. Say the truth out loud. Say the things you were never allowed to say. Start with, I forgive you for, I'm angry because, I'm ready to stop pretending that. The eyes will tremble. That's when you know it's working. 5. Radical ownership. Every pattern, every pain, every loop. You stop saying they made me and start saying, I allowed, I stayed, I chose not to blame yourself, but to reclaim your power. Part 6. Ancient Wisdom on the Shadow Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius. If someone does wrong, the harm lies not in their action, but in your judgment of it. Stoics teach you to separate pain from reaction, to observe yourself, instead of being consumed. Zen Buddhism. Zen doesn't fix the shadow, it dissolves the illusion of a fixed self. You're not your trauma, you're not your stories, your presence, watching it all unfold. Law of vibration. The shadow holds low-frequency energy, shame, guilt, fear. When you repress, you vibrate at that level. But when you release, your frequency rises, and your external reality begins to shift. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Part 7. Common modern shadows. The performer. You're always funny, charming, on. But inside, you're exhausted, unseen. The achiever. You're addicted to productivity, because slowing down feels like failure. The savior. You help everyone, because if they need you, you feel worthy. The rebel. You reject authority, but only because you were once controlled. Every persona hides a wound. Shadow work helps you live without the mask. Part 8. What happens when you integrate the shadow? You stop hiding, you stop judging, you stop bleeding on people who didn't cut you, you stop needing approval, you start living in alignment, you become real. Not perfect, but whole. Integration doesn't mean getting rid of darkness, it means owning it and turning it into power. I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become. Jung. Part 9. The Final Gate. Peace with your past. There will come a moment where you no longer need apologies. You stop replaying the old story. You stop searching for closure from others. Why? Because you gave it to yourself. Shadow work ends when you look at your darkest memories and feel compassion instead of rage. You see the pain, you honor it, and then you let it go. Part 10. The Protocol. Daily Shadow Work. Morning, night, 10-minute silence. Shadow journaling, 1 prompt. Breathwork. Inner child reflection. Mirror truth. Release affirmations. Do it for 30 days. Everything will change. Closing. You are not broken. You are becoming. You were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be whole, and the only way out is in, so face it. The fear, the shame, the jealousy, the rage, the lie you've lived too long. Face it and take your life back, because your shadow is not your enemy, it's your compass. If this shook something inside you, hit like and subscribe. We do this every day.